welcome to my new YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me. I have been wanting to start this since Trump won the presidency because I knew that there was going to be a tremendous amount of new executive orders and legislation relating to immigration law. And it's so important for you to feel informed and empowered. So let's get started. Okay, the very first piece of legislation was actually signed into law yesterday already by Congress and signed into law by President Trump. It is called the Laken Riley Act. This name comes from Laken Riley, who was a 22-year-old nursing student who was tragically murdered by an unauthorized immigrant with a criminal record. And this case sparked outrage with the entire nation and was used by Trump to advocate for stricter immigration enforcement. Now, what does this law actually do? Well, it's only a few pages long, and it expands dramatically the authority of ICE, or Immigration Customs Enforcement, their ability to arrest and then detain anybody who's been charged with a crime, not just convicted of a crime, but actually charged with a crime. And what crimes are we talking about? Burglary, theft, larceny, and shoplifting, assaulting a police officer, and also any crime resulting in serious bodily injury or death. Now, the specific section of the immigration law that this act amends is called 236C of the INA, the Immigration Nationality Act, and this is the law of mandatory detention. Under 236C, certain non-citizens must remain in custody while the removal proceedings are pending. So just so you know, the majority of immigrants or non-citizens who are here in the country and are facing removal proceedings are out of detention. This specific section is expanded to make that category of immigrants also expanded. So these people who fall under the new categories created by this law will not have the option to post bond or be released while fighting their case. I'm actually, if you see me looking to the left, I have some notes because I want to make sure I get through everything for you guys. Now, one of the most controversial aspects of this law is that it targets non-violent offenses like shoplifting. Why? Well, as we know, Laken Riley's murderer had been arrested for shoplifting before he committed this fatal attack. So the argument behind the law is that had he been detained by ICE for shoplifting earlier, then Riley's death could have been prevented. Another major change in this law is that now ICE has the authority to place in mandatory detention any non-citizen who has entered this country without inspection. So even if they don't have a criminal record. This means if you've never been arrested for a crime, but you didn't enter the United States through a port of entry, you could still be detained without bond. This is a huge expansion of ICE's power. Now, what is Trump's justification for this law? During the White House press conference yesterday, Trump pointed out that Laken Riley's attacker had evaded law enforcement at least 4 times before the fatal attack. He argued that soft immigration policies and lack of enforcement by immigration officials allowed this person to remain in the US despite prior arrests. So Trump's administration is making it abundantly clear that the focus is on unauthorized immigrants with any criminal record, even minor ones. Now, Trump has also repeatedly said that he is prioritizing violent unauthorized immigrants over nonviolent ones. But this act shows that even people who have nonviolent criminal charges or criminal convictions like shoplifting or theft could lead to detention and deportation. So if you or someone you love is an unauthorized immigrant with a criminal record, what does this mean for you? Let's break it down. I'm going to ask some questions and we're going to get them all answered. Number 1, can you be detained by ICE if you have not actually been convicted? Yes, if you are arrested or just even charged, ICE now can issue a detainer and take you into custody even if the charges are later dropped. Number 2, does it matter how long ago your crime occurred? Well, it depends. If your crime happened in the past before this law was actually passed, then it's unlikely you're actually going to be detained in the near future. But if you commit another crime, then your risk of being detained and deported will increase significantly. Number 3, what if the charge is minor, like shoplifting? Under this Laken Riley Act, now shoplifting and other nonviolent crimes, theft, larceny, are considered a trigger for automatic detention, mandatory detention, and now ICE is going to issue detainers more aggressively. Number 4, if ICE arrests you under this law, can you fight it? Of course, but it's going to be a lot harder to fight a case when you're in custody than when you're out of custody. Number 5, if you live in a sanctuary city, will you be protected? Do you need to be concerned about this new law? Yes, even if your city has policies that limit cooperation with ICE, which is what a sanctuary city does. For example, when somebody is placed into custody, they will not issue a hold or a detainer against a person and transfer them to ICE's custody. They will not let ICE know. But what happened in this law, what they also changed, is they expanded ICE's enforcement authority. So now ICE, in addition to issuing detainers, can also simply just arrest or detain somebody regardless, especially if the state and local authorities are not cooperating with them. So what should you do now? Well, if you or someone you know is undocumented or has any past or pending criminal charges, now is the time to take action. Do not wait until ICE comes to your door. It is important for you to know what your legal options are and what your defenses are. And I definitely recommend consulting both an immigration and criminal defense attorney, or even better, someone like me who practices both. So please subscribe to this channel for regular updates on immigration law, and feel free to leave your comments. I promise I'll be answering your questions in future immigration videos. Thank you so much.